Welcome to the red light district. Today, the LAPD admitted they're losing money on red light cameras throughout the city. Today, the LAPD admitted the cameras aren't working the way they're supposed to. But today, Chief Charlie Beck proclaimed, turn on the red light Los Angeles. We're keeping them. Jacked. Hugh Jackman decides to zip line on the stage for Oprah's big show in Australia. It looks like fun. And it was until, Hugh. You got to stop, buddy. Big problems down under. And with Michael Jackson approved, Michael Jackson's first album since his passing came out today. Many artists are outraged. We'll tell you why and let you hear some of it for yourself. All the stories people are talking about and everything you need to know right now on The Filter. Hello again off the top. It's The Filter 4 for our top 4 of the day, including why can't Los Angeles see the light when it comes to cameras? But we're going to begin with this. A woman sees a man who is obviously drunk sitting on a porch and holding what she believed to be a six-shooter or antique gun. She calls police in Long Beach. They arrive and take cover. Suddenly, the man extended his arms and pointed the gun-like object at an officer. Police opened fire, shooting and killing the man. Turns out it wasn't a gun he was holding. It was a black pistol-grip nozzle with a metal tip. Family of 35-year-old Douglas Zerby are in a state of shock and full of anger. Zerby was too drunk to drive and was sitting on the porch of an apartment waiting for a friend. When police called, all they knew was that someone was drunk and holding what appeared to be a gun. Family members say police acted irresponsibly and plan to file suit. Our contributors tonight, Megan Barth from RedCounty.com and the editor of Turner's Two Cents, Cameron Turner. Our pictures are furnished by Skype. Cameron, I will start with you. It is a horrible tragedy. You don't know what you would do if someone pointed a gun or what they thought was a gun at you. Did the police overreact, or was it an understandable mistake?
Well, we first must acknowledge that the death of any human being, particularly a violent death, is a terrible tragedy, as you said, and we certainly want to extend condolences to Douglas Zerby's family. There have been shootings of civilians by the LA Times. Yes, the LA Times ran a photograph. The LA Times ran a photograph of the water nozzle in question, and it looks quite a bit like a weapon. And so we can imagine how it looked at night. Particularly, Fred, as you pointed out, Mr. Zerby held the nozzle with two hands and extended his arms, much in the way that one would do with a weapon. So it's a horrible, horrible event. But murder, no.
All right, Megan, what do you think about this?
Well, it's an absolute tragedy, and I do extend my condolences to the family. And, you know, we did on The Filter a few months ago a story that was very similar to this, where a man was actually mentally disabled and accidentally shot by police because he was reaching in his pocket. This man was obviously incapacitated because he was drunk, and unfortunately a garden hose looked like a gun to the police. And, you know, hindsight is 20/20. I'm sure that the police, if they could take it back, they would. But it is an accident, a terrible tragedy, and I'm sure that the family, of course, is going to press charges. But I don't think that the police were negligent in any way. I'm sure that there's going to be an investigation. We'll all find out what happened, and the truth will come out eventually.
Yeah, it's a terrible story. There's no denying that. And ultimately, and you feel for the family, you truly do, there has to be some responsibility here accepted on the part of the young man that was holding what appeared to be a gun. I mean, there truly has to be, and it's a horrible tragedy, and you hate to see it happen. Okay, let's move on. Is this a brilliant way to make money or a tacky way to capitalize on kids? How about selling advertising in schools? The Sony Music Program, Under Armour Field, I don't know, the Staples Center for Performing Arts. Today, the LAUSD talked about overturning their ban on campus corporate advertising. Of course, the LAUSD is a financial disaster. Apparently, they don't teach economics in the district. They're desperate. They'll take money from anywhere except fast food, soda, tobacco, or alcohol. Word is they could raise $18 million a year. I am all for free enterprise, but is allowing advertising in schools going too far, Megan?
Well, it is going too far, and let me tell you why. LAUSD has a $7.3 billion budget. $18 million is $26 per student. So we're basically buying the minds of each student for $26. With $7.4 billion, we can't seem to educate students because LAUSD only has about a 40% graduation rate. They've got a 26% dropout rate. And so with the money that they have right now, they can't seem to just turn out educated students, or at least students that are prepared to go to college or enter the workforce. So I have a real problem with LAUSD trying to find other forms of funding when they can't even use the funding they have from taxpayer dollars to do what they're supposed to do, and that is to educate students.
Cameron, what do you think?
Well, there is a need for more funding in the district. I disagree with Megan that the budget is adequate. We've got students in LA schools sitting 45, 50 to a classroom. No education, no learning of any serious nature is going to happen under those circumstances. School books, being a rare commodity in some of our schools. So my view is that there is definitely a need for further funding.
But Cameron, I just say one thing? Let me just say one thing. And Megan made the point. With a budget of that size, don't you think they could be doing a better job managing it?
I think if there was evidence that the money was adequate, as I say, a simple reality of 45 or 50 kids in a middle school classroom, that is clearly a school district whose budget is not adequate to its needs if you've got that kind of overcrowding. So the need for further funding, I think, is clear. I'm not philosophically opposed to them taking corporate money, but $18 million out of a $5.4 to $7 million budget is doesn't seem to be very significant. So, as I say, I feel that as a nation, we have not made the investment in public schools that we need, not simply a financial investment, but an investment of creativity and of ideas. I have every bit of faith in our public school system, and I would love to see some political will behind funding our schools adequately so that we can see some real progress there.
Let me tell you something. Our schools, Megan, go. I'll give you 10 seconds. Go, Megan. Hurry up.
Okay, Melissa Infusio of the LAUSD said there will be plenty of filters to guide us to what is appropriate and inappropriate to kids. Here's another example of a bureaucracy making decisions for the kids, not the parents. The bureaucracy at LAUSD has gotten so large, and the kids have been forgotten. The larger the bureaucracy gets, the less freedom and liberty that the kids have to learn. It's the same in government. This is a heavy, heavy bureaucracy that needs to be chopped up and given parental control like you are seeing now with the charter amendments coming at LAUSD. That's the only thing, not money. The only thing that's going to fix LAUSD is having the parents involved and the kids educated.
Okay, and I'm not so sure. You know what? And let me just say this because we have to move on. Megan, I'm not so sure I agree with that. But we'll talk about that on another night. Okay. We've talked about red light cameras in the past. City of Anaheim voted to ban them. Outgoing Mayor Kurt Pringle said down there he believed the city shouldn't extort money from its citizens. City of Loma Linda dropped them. City of Whittier dropped them. Across the country, the city of Houston passed an initiative putting them to an end. City of Los Angeles actually lost money on the cameras and then, throwing good money against bad, spent another $300,000 for more. Keep in mind, 45% of the tickets have gone uncollected. 56,000 citations are tied up in court, but Police Chief Charlie Beck wants to keep them. Today, the LA Police Commission approved continued use of the cameras. Cameron, if it came down to a vote in LA like it did in Anaheim, do you think the people would give the red light cameras the red light?
Oh, it's time to cancel this program. It's lost $2.5 million. You've got something like 45% of the tickets issued through these red light cams have not even been paid. The city controller, Wendy Gruhl, broke the figures down. She looked at the LAPD's own statistics and found that out of the 32 intersections which are monitored by these red light cameras, 16 of those intersections have seen a decrease in traffic accidents. But 12 of those 32 have seen an increase and 4 have seen no change at all. So at best, they can say half of them have had some effect on reducing traffic accidents. It's a program that's not making any major difference. It's losing a lot of money, and it's time to yank the cord on it. City is strapped financially, and this is just a money hole. Get rid of it.
All right, what do you think, Megan?
Yeah, it's just, throwing money after bad money that's already been spent. They should definitely put it to the taxpayers to have them vote on it. And I can probably guarantee you, because if I lived in LA County, I would definitely vote the cameras down. They serve no purpose, and they are clogging up the courts, and they are a financial drain on an already financially drained county.
And I love the fact that they decided to spend more money. They spent more money on the cameras.
Of course, because it's not their money; it's our money.
You can never underestimate political figures, politicians' capacity for voting their own selfish interest. Kind of reminds me of our friends in Washington who decided that in a time of deficit crisis, we're going to give $700 billion to rich folks through tax breaks. Doesn't make any sense either, and yet that's happening right now as well.
Don't get Megan started.
Class warfare.
All right, don't get Megan started.
Older than the hills.
All right, let's move on. All right. Freedom of religion is a constitutional right. A Muslim middle school teacher in suburban Chicago asked for unpaid leave to make a pilgrimage to Mecca that is a central part of her religion. The school district denied the request. Now the federal government is suing the school district. School district denied Sephora Khan's requested leave because it was unrelated to her professional duties and was not set forth in the contract between the district and the teachers union. The government contends the district violated the Civil Rights Act of 1964 by failing to reasonably accommodate her religious practices. Should the district have granted the leave, or were they right in denying it, Megan?
Well, first, does anyone find it ironic that she comes from a school district called Berkeley? I just found that just kind of funny. But I also found a little ironic that she started in the school district in 2007 and requested this leave in 2008. Now, as an employee, if I was going to take a 3-week sabbatical, I would tell my employer up front that I had these plans. So they would at least know that they could accommodate the request or not accommodate the request. So I kind of find it a little bit odd, and maybe she's more of an activist than she is a teacher, to make this request. Secondly, I looked into Hajj, and Hajj is about a 5-day event. And so for her to take 3 weeks, I question, why is it 3 weeks? She could have perhaps asked for a week or 2 weeks, and perhaps the district could have come back. It doesn't seem like there was a lot of negotiation. And lastly, if I'm a Roman Catholic and I want to go to Rome and visit the Pope, can I get a 3-week sabbatical? I just want to make sure that Eric Holder and the DOJ is going to protect my rights as a Christian, as he's so willing to protect those rights of a Muslim.
Cameron?
Well, there is no evidence that, the evidence is, according to the EEOC, the EEOC made the determination that discrimination had happened here. So speculating about 5 days versus 3 weeks and how long she had been working there, that's not the point. The point is that the Department of the federal government, which oversees discrimination, and this is 2008, this is when President Bush was still in the White House. The EEOC said that there's reason to believe that discrimination took place here. That's where we've got to approach this issue. I think that the school district, at this point, the onus is on them to demonstrate why she was denied. If she was denied this unpaid leave because of the length of time or because she hadn't been working there long enough, then I don't think a finding of discrimination would have been made by the EEOC. I tend to suspect that had she wanted to go away on a Christian retreat or something like that, some of the kinds of things that I've done with the youth and the men's group at our church, that she probably wouldn't have had this problem. The inescapable
we don't know about
is,
that.
We
don't know about that.
There's a lot of Islamophobia going on in the country right now, so I suspect that this is an example of anti-Muslim bias. That's my suspicion.
Oh, my Lord, have mercy.
All right.
Megan, there's no evidence that it's not. Can you prove that it's
not?
not?
Well, there's no evidence that there is.
The EEOC said there's evidence here that there is discrimination.
You're arguing based on an assumption and a generalization.
No, I'm not, it's not an assumption.
Back that up.
I'm not assuming anything. The finding by the federal agency that oversees discrimination, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, determined in 2008 that there was reason to believe that there was discrimination. Right. That's not my assumption.
All right, Megan, wait. Megan, 10 seconds, last word, we got to go. Go.
I'll just say Eric Holder has not had a very stellar record in pursuing either discrimination or even voter intimidation. So I have a real problem with this DOJ.
All right.
Eric Holder was not even in office when this case came up.
Okay.
The EEOC decided it was
discrimination.
That's it.
He has the authority to pursue it.
That's it. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Thank you very much.